Estimated 25 million Americans suffer from osteoporosis. Richie Gerber is a nutritionist who joins us today to tell us who may be at risk and what we can do to fight osteoporosis. Richie, we hear about osteoporosis all the time. What is osteoporosis?
Osteoporosis is a loss of bone density. Bones become more fragile, smaller, thinner. With that, they become weaker, and there's a high prevalence towards fractures.
Are there any symptoms?
Unfortunately, when the symptoms occur, you already have it and you're dealing with it. The symptoms are, when you do have it, you'll feel things like low back pain or spine, pain in the spine, pain in the jaw, bone aches, and also probably hunching over sometimes and shrinking.
What tests are available to detect osteoporosis?
They have bone density tests. There are some x-rays that are specific to bone density. Do be aware that the regular conventional x-ray is not a good indicator, because once it shows up on a regular x-ray, that person has already had a 1/3 loss of bone density.
Who is at risk for osteoporosis?
The research indicates that 1/3 of postmenopausal women have osteoporosis.
What can we do to prevent osteoporosis?
Well, it all comes down to diet and exercise. With diet, it's things to avoid.
So what should we avoid?
Tobacco, alcohol, sugar.
That's a tough one for most women.
Right, but
you said we can still have a little chocolate, right?
Yes, reduce these things: tobacco, alcohol, sugar.
And it's a misconception that eating dairy foods helps your calcium and in turn helps osteoporosis, isn't it?
Animal protein is not the way to go. There was a study done on 2 groups of women: vegetarian diet-based women and women who were carnivores, meat-eating diets, and their ages were between 60 and 90. And the results came in: the vegetarian women, they had a bone loss rate of 18%. But the carnivores, the meat-eating women, had a whopping double that at 35% bone loss. So just reducing animal protein will reduce your risk factors.
Do you recommend taking a calcium supplement?
Absolutely, especially if you're in these higher risk categories. And first supplement would be calcium, but in the citrate form, calcium citrate. I would not recommend taking calcium from a stomach acid neutralizer or calcium.
That can be very harmful.
Right, and because it neutralizes your stomach acid, and then your acid's not doing its job. Also, oyster shell calcium, it's just ground up oyster shells, and therefore there's a lot of impurities in it. So again, it would be calcium citrate. Also green leafy vegetables, things like kale and spinach.
And that's what I was getting to. What are some things we should be eating?
Oh, the things that, millet, very high in calcium. Sea vegetables like kombu and dulse are very, very important. They have a lot of minerals and high in calcium. Sesame seeds, high in calcium. Soy products, also very good
for you.
And have these estrogens in them. So remember that nowadays our bodies are being bombarded by pollutions and other toxic materials that kind of overwhelm us. So these are good nutrients, the phytonutrients.
We were talking earlier about postmenopausal women being at greater risk for osteoporosis, and that's because of a loss of hormones. What can we do naturally to help replace those hormones?
Oriental herb, gotu kola, dung quai, very good for the woman. Vitex officinalis, that's a herb. Also evening primrose oil, very good for women's health.
And you said there's something brand new that's coming out?
Ipriflavone, and that is a soy-based product. It's a tablet, capsule, and a lot of research is showing that it really helps actually to retard the process and possibly even reverse some of the loss.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, boron is also good, some minerals like boron and silica.
And you could take those in a supplement then?
Absolutely, and there's actually supplements on the market now on the shelves that are actually bone density specific supplements. So it can make, instead of taking 10 of these things that I mentioned, you can take one and cover a lot of bases.
If you have osteoporosis, is there anything you can do to slow the progression?
Well, one thing is exercise. We didn't talk about exercise, and a very important kind of exercise. You can have anaerobic and aerobic. Well, the anaerobic, the resistance.
Like weight bearing.
Yes, weight bearing, resistance exercise. And believe it or not, our muscles are very, very forgiving. Do you realize a 80-year-old person and a 20-year-old person who both start to exercise and do the same exercise, your muscles will react the same way?
So if you're 80 years old, you can get in great shape.
We're all equal. Yes, you won't have the stamina, let's say, but your muscles will react the same, and you'll get the growth and the benefits.
Well, Richie, that's excellent advice. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you.